How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about the Game Week 28 team selection. Unfortunately, it's not a double Game Week 28, we have more of a conventional, normal game week, so return back to reality from the doubles that we have had over the last couple game weeks. In this video, we're going to be talking about a quick review of my Game Week 27 squad, which was a double game week, before turning our attention to the transfer plan, and then finally our Game Week 28 team selection. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about my blank Game Week 29 squad as well. We're going to be doing a little bit of analysis of how many players I do own, and I'm going to give you guys an approach to monitor your own sides and what transfers you do make. And it's important to take that blank into consideration because it is on the horizon there, so you want to make sure your Game Week 28 transfers are in line with your blank Game Week 29 plan. So stick around to the end of the video, but let's get straight back into the normal review. So Game Week 27 double Game Week review. Unfortunately, we did have an end to our green arrow streak, so I would appreciate some F's in chat from you guys. Unfortunately, we ended this consecutive double streak with a red arrow, but 19 green arrows in a row is absolutely sensational. I wanted to give you guys a shout out, as I did on Twitter yesterday, to those of you who have stuck around since about that 4 million rank. It's not the best start to the season. This FPL season definitely wasn't the best start, but considering 19 green arrows in a row, we're now sitting at a relatively respectable rank at just above that 50k. So 65 points, which was actually a -4 hit included, so we only got 61 points. And the transfers this week were Harry Kane in with Jesse Lingard in, and we took Bruno Fernandes out and DCL out. I know Bruno Fernandes out, what was I thinking? I should have taken Mo Salah out because he blanked, but hindsight is a beautiful thing. And if you actually look at the transfers we made, Harry Kane and Lingard outperformed Bruno Fernandes and DCL by quite a healthy margin, including that -4 hit. So imagine if I didn't have Harry Kane this week, the red arrow would have been even bigger. So the red arrow this week took us just above that 50k mark. Our eyes are still on that top 10k, but it's getting mighty tough to kind of imagine a top 10k finish, because I think right now we're about 48 points off that top 10k, and with basically all our chips used, that's going to be quite a tough haul to do. So with the last 10 game weeks of the season about, I'm going to have to make up about 5 points per game week, and with the current template squads and the teams performing so well, I don't really know how I'm going to catch that up, but we still are always going to aim for that. We're going to aim as high as possible, and hopefully you guys can join me on this journey from now to the end of the season to see how high we can finish. But starting off in goal, we have Forster with 6 points there. It was kind of the opposite of what I didn't want to happen. I definitely didn't want Forster to be benched for the first game against Sheffield United and then play the second game against Manchester City, because we saw Man City scoring 5 goals, so then McCarthy conceding 5 goals. I don't know the exact points total that McCarthy ended on, but I definitely would have preferred a nice clean sheet from Forster. So you got the best fixture out of the double. A little bit annoying why he didn't start against Man City. The speculation up there was that maybe the Southampton manager didn't want Foster's confidence to go down, because he kind of knew that Man City were going to score a lot of goals, so he rather played McCarthy there and kept Foster for the upcoming game weeks. But we don't really know that. I definitely won't be playing him. I might play him as a little bit of a punt if he has a good fixture, because if McCarthy does start, he'll just simply be on my bench with 0 points. But I was happy with the clean sheet. A little bit of regret there not starting Johnston. I did think that Johnston would get a clean sheet, but I thought for Southampton against Sheffield United, that also would have been in clean sheet, so I would have taken kind of any save points against Man City that I could get. But with 2 points lost, that could be a little bit of a regret in Game Week 27. The rest of the defense definitely doesn't look good and are a major regret. We have Diaz here, who actually started both games for Man City. I know they're 2 points, basically just 2 appearance points, so you might have thought that he lost the clean sheet, but no, he lost the clean sheet and he conceded 2 goals in each of the fixtures against United and Southampton, so that landed him up on 2 points. A little bit of unluckiness there if you didn't manage to captain him, but that's kind of the reason why I never like to captain a defender, because if they lose that clean sheet, that's their stable points haul there, and that's always going to land them on a relatively low haul. So only 2 points here, and then Cancelo with only 1 point, but Cancelo only started one of the fixtures, only played against United, was on the bench last night against Southampton, and I can't help but think that maybe if he started that one, he could have at least had an attacking return. I don't think it would have helped much with that whole clean sheet there for Man City, but I think maybe an attacking return would have been quite welcome. Dallas also on 1 point. I knew that we really couldn't trust that Leeds defense, but I think that I had a little bit more faith in them, but they were absolutely terrible against West Ham, and West Ham definitely deserved the win there. From an attacking point of view, Leeds were also dreadful. They were a little bit unlucky there. We had that Rafinha Bamford goal early on that was actually out, so that goal was disallowed, and then we had some other opportunities, but it was later on in the fixture where Bamford missed some clear-cut chances. Those would definitely have a big chance rating or an XG rating of 1, so that can be classified as a major miss there from Bamford, and I think he would have even admitted disappointed that he missed those sitters. So that was a little bit disappointing, and it was kind of a differential punt having 3 Leeds players. But the thing with Leeds that I've found is when we always count on them, they always disappoint. Just think back to that bench boost. I think it was game week 18 where we bench boosted with triple Leeds. They returned nothing. Now we needed them to kind of resurrect our game week, and nothing happened again. So I don't think we're going to really be trusting Leeds that often. And for blank game week 29, that's leading me towards maybe looking at not a high points return. But nevertheless, these Leeds options will be in for the next couple of game weeks because, as I said, they do play in the blank. But it was quite disappointing that they all didn't haul in a double game week 27. The rest of the midfield, we have Heung-min Sonia with 5 points. Would have definitely preferred Gareth Bale, but 5 points from Sonny is perfectly fine. Considering how many goals that Crystal Palace scored, I think if you were a Son captain, you can consider yourself quite unlucky. We then have Jesse Lingard, who was the transfer in, who also got 5 points, but the 5 points that he got were a lot different to Heung-min Son. So Son got an assist, but Lingard goes and gets the penalty, wins it actually, takes it himself, misses it, then converts the rebound from the keeper. So quite lucky there that he managed to score off the rebound, because if he managed to miss the penalty and get those minus points, I would have been quite upset. But with Jesse Lingard, 5 points there, will always take some returns, but I was hoping for maybe a little bit more from the West Ham midfielder, considering how bad Leeds were defensively. Then we go on to our captain, who was GUNDO this week with 10 points. Really happy that I managed to score last night. Didn't score as much as De Bruyne, but I kind of wasn't going to bring in De Bruyne this week, considering that I wanted to get Harry Kane, and I haven't really worked out the points percentage difference between if I was to bring in De Bruyne, because I would have captained him, versus maybe going for Harry Kane or not. So I think that we might have come out of that with a net gain, but probably not because of De Bruyne's haul last night, but just kind of happy that Gundogan, as the most highly owned captain, managed to get a return. Then finally, also in that midfield is Mo Salah, who blanked again. I mean, this is kind of getting a little bit ridiculous with Liverpool at the moment. They're just kind of blanking left, right and centre. And in that fixture against Fulham, I mean, we kind of were saying that Mo Salah could have been a potential captaincy option a couple of game weeks ago, but definitely not at this stage of the season. And they looked absolutely terrible against Fulham, and Mo Salah in general. In the Champions League last night, Liverpool looked a lot better, and I'm hoping that that can kind of be a catalyst for Mo Salah this weekend and Liverpool in general, and they can hopefully put on a better performance. And then going on to the bench, we have Ollie Watkins with only 2 points. I was really unhappy with benching Ollie Watkins, but that decision came out a little bit trumps there. Did actually hit the post quite early on, so was actually a little bit unlucky there, but that kind of seems to be Ollie Watkins' FPL season and season in general. He's just one of the most unlucky players at the moment, and definitely his finishing isn't on the lucky side of things. Then also going on to the bench, we have Kufal here with a lovely 6 points. That's going to be rooted to my bench. And then finally also Lucas Digne, who definitely on that third position won't be coming on with that lovely 0 points. But that's another review. 50k, hopefully we can kind of boost on here and start a little bit of another green arrow run. But now going on to the transfers for game week 28, we unfortunately only have one free transfer, and the two considerations I have on screen here are if I do make a transfer, and then the other one is I'm probably going to be banking it. So the most kind of conservative, the most realistic option this week is I'm probably going to be just banking a transfer. There's too many teams that I kind of want to keep for this game week, Mo Salah included. I don't really want to go for a Gareth Bale against an Arsenal, and Fulham right now have been playing better defensively, so might not want to go for a De Bruyne. But then after this week, we can look at that blank game week 29, and with those two free transfers, we can hopefully look at maybe getting as close to a starting 11 as possible. But if I was to make a transfer this week and not to kind of bank a transfer, the two options I have discussed include one, taking a -4 hit, taking out Mo Salah and Ruben Diaz, and then bringing in Kevin De Bruyne and then going for Matt Target. So this option would lead me to captaining Kevin De Bruyne. Came off a little bit early, I think it was around that 70-minute mark in their fixture last night against Southampton, so he might be playing on the weekend against Fulham. But obviously with that Man City pep roulette, we can never really predict who starts, but I think that Kevin De Bruyne is one of the most nailed players in that starting lineup. So if I brought him in, I would definitely look at captaining him. And then also Matt Target obviously has that fixture in blank game week 29, so that's just kind of another blank game week player coming in that can hopefully fulfill that starting 11 for game week 29, but also has a really nice fixture in game week 28, so that's why I'm looking at a potential move for Matt Target. Ruben Diaz and Mo Salah will be on the chopping block. I don't really want to lose Mo Salah, but Ruben Diaz, because of him starting both games in double game week 27 and Cancelo being rested, I think that Cancelo will definitely start against Fulham. And then with that wild card in game week 31, we can always just swap those two players around, whoever we kind of want. So I could be willing to take a punt on losing a Man City defender and then going for Kevin De Bruyne just because of that rotation, that defense, and I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. The other more conservative option, then taking a -4 hit, is just going to be to bring Gareth Bale in. I probably want to bring Gareth Bale in next game week anyway, so maybe this week could be the week to do it and just kind of get ahead of the schedule a little bit, ahead of the Gareth Bale bandwagon. But losing Mo Salah against Wolves, considering that Bale has Arsenal, I think that North London derby is going to be quite a closely contested one, and that's why I'm not really that keen on on taking a little bit of a punt this game week and rather just assess the situation with Gareth Bale's kind of fitness. And also just remember that Bale is playing tonight in the Europa League, so monitor if he starts that one, if he manages to get injured or not, when he gets taken off, and how Spurs are looking overall, as I think that will give us quite a lot of insight into the Game Week 28 fixture. So the most conservative and the most realistic option for me this week is probably going to be to bank it, but if I do make a move, these are the two that I am considering. So now going on to the Game Week 28 lineup. This is the lineup with no transfers obviously made. The captaincy still is a little bit undecided, but I'll talk about that at the start. I've gone for Harry Kane in this one, just because of the fact that although I think that the North London derby will be quite a close one, I'm predicting a Spurs to win it, maybe a 2-1, a 3-1 or a 2-0, and Harry Kane just has to be involved in either of those two goals to maybe get a return. And he loves playing against Arsenal, so I think this game week could be quite a big one for Harry Kane and Spurs in general, and that's why currently my captain is on him. I could also go for Gundogan, but with that Man City rotation right now, I don't know if it's worth kind of taking a punt. And because Fulham have been better defensively, although Man City have been absolutely sensational, I think that game might be a little bit closer than maybe a 5-2 against Southampton. So that's kind of my thinking behind it. I've got the vice captaincy right now on a Mo Salah. I've mentioned that I don't really want to take him out, and I just kind of have a little bit of a gut feeling that Mo Salah could do big things against Wolves. If you remember previous in the season, Liverpool put on a good show against Wolves, so I'm expecting Mo Salah to get back in the swing of things and hopefully get a couple goals and assists. The rest of the team kind of picks itself here. The bench is quite hard. We got Chelsea fixtures. We also have Lingard not playing. I really don't want to play any of my Leeds assets against Chelsea because I think from not only an attacking but also defensive point of view, I don't think it's going to be that profitable. But starting off in goal, we have a little bit of a dilemma here. We've got Johnston against Crystal Palace away, and then we also have Forster against Brighton. So Forster against the XG Merchants. Maybe I kind of have to play my odds here, and because they have such a good XG, they're not going to score any goals. And the thing that worries me about Crystal Palace is that Wilfried Zaha is back from his injury, and that's always kind of the main threat for Crystal Palace's attack. So I might want to bench Johnson in this one, but West Brom defensively haven't been the worst in the world recently, but I don't think they've been playing against particularly strong sides. So maybe Crystal Palace, they could still get a clean sheet. The rest of the defense, as I mentioned, kind of picks itself. We have Soufal against United, which isn't the optimal fixture, but because I don't own any United options, I might as well just play the odds here and hope that maybe West Ham manage to keep a clean sheet in that one, which isn't the worst thing in the world because West Ham defensively have actually been quite strong. And then we have Cancelo and Diaz against Fulham. I'm just basically hoping start. Lucas Digne against Burnley could also be quite a nice haul. Everton are a little bit hit or miss at the moment, but I think that Lucas Digne could maybe get an attacking return and hopefully maybe some defensive returns in this one. The midfield department is also quite stacked here. We've got Son, we got Gundogan, and we have Salah. The only player I really want to add here is going to be Kevin De Bruyne because I think he's a great option and definitely pulling the strings for that Man City lineup at the moment. But with Son, has the potential to do well. It could be quite a counter-attacking game, which definitely suits Son's style more than Harry Kane's, but I just think that I'll always captain Harry Kane over Heung-min Son, just because I think the outlets for attacking returns are a lot more on the English striker side of things. Then finally in the attack we have Bamford. I don't really want to start Bamford here. I don't have much faith in him, but maybe he can score in this one. I think that will be quite welcomed considering I don't own a Chelsea defender, and it seems like quite a few people do at the moment. And then also in that forward line we have Ollie Watkins with a really nice game against Newcastle. So Newcastle quite injury plagued at the moment. I know their attacking lineup has some serious injuries, but I don't know about their defensive lineup, but I'm hoping that maybe Jack Grealish returns from his injury for this game because I think this could be quite a good game for Aston Villa and there could be quite a lot of goals in it. But that's enough for the game week selection. Let's get on and talk about my blank game week 29 lineup. So as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be talking about my blank Game Week 29 lineup at the moment. And as you can see, I've kind of highlighted all the players that I own that currently will play in blank Game Week 29. I know that Lingard is currently red flagged, but don't worry about that. That's just because he's on loan from Man United at West Ham. So obviously he can't play against his parent club. But 8 players at the moment with those 2 free transfers should take us to about 10 players. I don't know if I'm going to be taking a hit because I don't think the fixtures are that great in blank Game Week 29. But this is what you guys have to do. Go and look at your own squad. Highlight the players that play in blank Game Week 29 because if you currently have about 5, 6, you're definitely going to want to prioritize those players instead of maybe bringing in another option. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to. Obviously, if you want to take a punt on a Game Week 28 option, maybe captain them, you could always do that, but I would kind of recommend that you guys do look ahead to the upcoming blank because it's shortly approaching, and I don't want you guys to miss out and have about 3 or 4 players in your lineups for blank Game Week 29. So this is basically a wrap up the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like it if you did, and subscribe if you're new and have not subscribed yet. I'll be checking you guys tomorrow for hopefully a Dayline with Dayvy live stream, but I will confirm that over on my Twitter page. I'll be signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.